thanks to my team, Maya and Abby, who have been sort of the brain children behind this. I had the idea, but they have executed this wonderfully. With that, I'm going to welcome Angie to the stage with our panelists.
Yay! Oh, nice here. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I didn't want to be in
I
you.
wasn't going to take that seat. I'll go to your girls, man.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hey.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm excited about our conversation today. Number one, to share the information, but also to retain some of this information for myself. Right? We always need reminders, and I have some questions for our panel today, which will be great. We have Tayumika Zarita. She is the community manager of this Chase Bank Community Center, and we have Jennifer. Yeah, you can give her a little. Yeah. Everybody likes to feel wanted and appreciated. Jennifer Silverio. She's the regional card relationship market manager for the. This is a very impressive and long title. She is the regional card relationship market manager for the Manhattan region of JP Morgan Chase. Wow. Hello, everyone.
Hello. What up, Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, what's good? We can start with you. And talk. I think we can start the conversation because, like he was mentioning earlier, this is a lot about credit and debit and understanding the difference and some of the cards and how we use them. But I think you said something to me just now in the back that I thought was really interesting because your perspective is community, right? First, and wellness, and a part of that is financial wellness, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So maybe you can speak to that. How you came to this work and what is that? What does your title mean?
Absolutely. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, that was weak. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Super excited to be here today. So, my name is Tayumika. I'm going to quiz you at the end and ask you how to spell it.
And you're going to say it right.
Yes. So, I was telling Angie in the back that often when we talk about wellness, right, we often focus on mental health, physical health, emotional health, and even spiritual health. But financial health is equally as important. I was born in Panama. Any Panamanians in the room? That's right. Panama. So firsthand, I've seen the struggles that my parents went through because they didn't have money to pay the bills. And I often share this example, and no shame in sharing it, is that we were evicted multiple times, over 8 times,
Wow.
right? And as a kid growing up, it was exciting. I'm the oldest of 3, and every time we went to a new place, it was like, oh, we got a new room, we got a new kitchen. But the older I got, I realized that there's some instability or lots of instability in this. So for me, I came to Chase 3.5 years ago to close the circle. And focus on financial health because complete wellness must include financial health. And my role as a community manager in this beautiful Bedford-Stuyvesant Community Center. Isn't this amazing?
Yes.
That energy was not given. This beautiful community center that was created just for you, for the community. At Chase, we want to go from community banking to community building. And my role as a community manager is to help increase financial literacy in the community, right? Knowledge is power, and generally speaking, the more information someone has, the better informed decisions they can make. So here, I call it planting seeds. And I believe that the more seeds you plant, the bigger the harvest. And I plant seeds because seeds have no other job but to grow. So I'm excited to be here today with Angie, with Jennifer, with my people. Super excited to be here today to talk about the conversation that's much needed and much important.
I love that. And what is your title? Just so people understand what you do, because that long title, it sounds like you're very busy.
It's a very long title, but what I like to say is that we are people support specialists, right? So essentially, product support specialist, but truly people support specialist. So what I do is I work with the branch staff, and it's all about how do we have better conversations and educating the clients that walk through our doors day in and day out, and just fully focusing on what can we say, what are the best practices that we have around our fantastic products, and just basically upskilling the people that you sit across from every day that when you walk into one of our branches. So when you do sit across from one of our bankers, know that there's someone like me throughout the country upskilling the bankers to have these conversations with you guys. So that's pretty much my focus. And love what I do. I am a Brooklyn native, so I truly believe in the community. I believe in what the center does and what Tayamika does and the value that we actually add day in and day out. So that's long title, simply put, people support specialist.
Yes.
I love that. So important now too, because in the day of social media, there's so much information all the time. Some of it good, some of it bad. So when someone walks into the bank, I'm sure it's really important to have somebody like you to bounce ideas, questions, how to use the products, what products are available, what products best suit me, how important that role is in a world where there's like excess amount of information.
Totally agree.
You know what I mean? So let's start with the basics. Let's start. What is the difference between debit and credit? I mean, let's get right to the basics.
Jumping right in.
Yes.
So credit is the ability to buy something now and pay for it later, with the promise to pay in the future. So it's not a gift, y'all. It's a loan.
I wish.
I wish. So we have to pay it back, right?
Yeah.
And debit basically is you can use your card to withdraw money from the account, from the ATM. You can use it at a store, restaurant, and when you use your debit card, the money's coming out directly from your account. Now, some of the advantages of credit, right? Again, it's not a gift, it's a loan. So credit, if used responsibly, can help you build your credit, right? Also, you can use it as a cushion for an emergency. Anybody ever had an emergency in here?
Yes.
No hands raised? What's going on? Y'all sleeping?
All the time.
So credit, right, it can help with that. Some of the disadvantages is that you are at risk of building debt, right? If you don't use it responsibly, then that also can lead to negative impact of your credit score.
Right.
When it comes to using debit, you're using your own money, right? So, and then a disadvantage of that is that you don't get to build credit. So those are just some of the advantages and disadvantages. And when it comes to credit, right, credit score, it's a 3-digit number that ranges from 300 to 850. And is considered predictive of certain behaviors. So what behaviors, may you ask, whether Tayamika or not, when she gets this loan, this credit card, is she gonna repay? And not repay whenever I feel like it, right? Because if I can be real here, we listen and we don't judge, right? Right?
Yeah, it's okay.
So if I
You're
can
in
be
a
real
safe
here, when I was in college, right, remember I told you I was an immigrant from Panama, I knew that in my mind, I couldn't call home. I went to school upstate New York, a school called Colgate University, has nothing to do with toothpaste. And I knew that when I needed money for books, when I needed money to take the bus, I just couldn't call my parents, not because they said don't call, but because they were trying to keep the lights on, keep food on the table. So when I came in contact with credit cards at the age of 18, and I heard buy now and pay later, I said, oh my goodness, what a blessing, until it wasn't, right? So for me, buy now and pay later became buy now and pay later, or buy now and pay never. Don't judge me.
Or buy now and then be in debt for a long time.
Yes.
That's what happened to me too. I was 18 when I got my first credit card, and I just remember thinking, I won. I thought I have so much money. I don't remember the credit at that time when it was. I was 18, 19, 20. Like, what is the advice to that?
I'm so glad that you asked, and we did this program just for you because we don't want you to go through the same mistakes that we went through. So for those of you who have credit, right, you know how to manage it effectively, and for those of you who don't have credit yet, when you get that first credit card, you will remember all three of our faces. And remember some of the tips and the strategies that we're going to share today. And here at the community center, as I mentioned, right, our goal is to go from community banking to community building. We want this to be a trusted community place for the community to come in and convene, and we can help you make your financial journey a lot smoother. So some of the things that we do here is we offer monthly workshops. Actually, we had a workshop today at 4, and some of the topics include credit, debt management, how to manage your credit. And one of the other things that we offer is last year, we're going to be doing it again this year, we had a credit clinic here for free. Like, think about that. The cost of that is immense. And Chase, with the partners that we work with, we were able to bring a credit clinic and bring a credit specialist so that customers can meet with the specialist one-on-one, right? So those are some of the services that we're able to provide season. And we distribute book bags, but in addition to that, it's not just book bag. We're also having workshops where we're talking to parents about money values to teach their children. Also speaking to the students, right? At a young age, this is how you save, this is how you budget, this is credit, these are the things that you need to watch out for. And we'll get into it in a little bit, but I personally
I need to know all the things to watch out for. Not just for myself, because I've learned some things along the way, but also I'm raising two, young boys, well, young adults at this point, and it's like refreshing and making sure that they know all those tools, and
Right.
and we can all be reminded
Right.
all the time.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to get off track.
Right, absolutely. This is what I usually say at my workshops. You might know everything we're going to talk about today, so this is a refresher because we get busy in life, right? And reminders are important, or you might learn something new today. So we're here to give you the strategies and best practices. And there's 6 factors that impact your credit score, and I personally call them the rules of engagement. If anyone plays a sports in here, anybody? Anyone cooks? Anyone bakes?
Yeah,
Right?
sometimes.
Sometimes. So for all these types of things, right? I play the drums. For all these things, there are rules, right? I'm not good at getting IKEA furniture and putting it together because most of the time I don't follow the instructions, right? But with anything that we do in life, there are rules of engagement. And when we talk about credit, there are rules that we need to follow. So when we're dealing with young adults, it's like, these are the rules. And if you want to win, so to speak, then we need to follow these rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna circle back to this because I want to know all the rules. We're gonna learn the rules today, but there are so many credit cards out there. I know this is your area where you can kind of maybe tell us about the differences of them and how do you know which one is for you, and what are some of the great ones here?
Well, you're right. We have a lot of credit cards and many with fantastic benefits, but we really want to dive deep into what's important to you, what's important to our clients, right? So based on what's important to you, we have various cards that may offer travel reward benefits, cards that actually give you cash back for your everyday spending. You also have new to credit cards, right? So if you're new to credit and this is the first time that you're looking to go into maybe looking at a card, we have a fantastic solution. It's called Freedom Rise. See that in the pack right there?
There it is.
But we want to meet all of our clients throughout their entire financial journey. So we do have something for everyone. It just all depends on what's important to you financially, and you kind of discover that when you're having those conversations with your banker, or when you're coming into a community branch like this, you kind of figure out what's important to you, what are those goals, and we kind of dive deep into that, and there's a card for everyone.
I have a goal.
Go ahead, shoot.
I have a goal I didn't answer for,
Yeah.
and then I want to know about Freedom Rise too. But so like I said, I have 2 young adults.
Yeah.
They still use my DoorDash. You already know where I'm going with this. And also, I use my DoorDash, and sometimes at the end of the month, I'm like, wait a minute, how many, times do we order Chipotle? And from 3 different times, and keeping track of what we spend on apps is like a thing. So I was wondering if there was a card, if there's a credit card that could be used for specific things like that could give you a weekly budget or a monthly budget, and then your app shuts off at the end of that. That's what I would personally, my own personal thing I would like to know.
So it's a great question. More so than a credit card, we actually offer something that's called Chase First Banking. And what that is, it's usually tailored to, children at ages 6 to 17, where you can actively manage that spending pattern, right? So you want to build better habits, especially around spending. There's a great solution for that called Chase First Checking. And as a parent or a guardian, one of the things that we want to do is teach our children from young how to have better habits. And it all starts from there. And one of the things that, many of our clients
To budget, it's really
budgeting,
budgeting.
right?
Yeah.
And it's also really, if you think about it, it builds character, you know what I mean? So if you're with your children and you're trying to teach them certain habits, like managing money, or just simply even if you want to be frank, chores, right? We incentivize our children these days, and the way that we kind of do it is we can do it through a simple solution as Chase First Checking, and you have the ability to monitor all of that through your mobile app yourself. You can actually put a deposit whenever you feel like it's necessary, so encouraging the behavior that you want to see day in and day out, and your children would kind of see the benefit of that in the future. So that's Chase First Checking is a fantastic solution.
And then what about Freedom Rise?
So
Tell me the benefits of that.
Freedom Rise is fantastic, and I know I'm saying that word a lot, but if you think about who it's designed for, it's designed for young adults, 18 and over, who's interested in building credit, right? So it's first time, new to credit, also similarly new to country. So you can be new to country, just receiving your social security number or I-10, and it is all about how do we navigate building credit. So that is exactly who the Freedom Rise is designed for. It's amazing. One of the things that many of our clients appreciate, or even if you think about just goals in general, many of our clients want to own that home, want to get into that apartment, want to get into that car. And one of the ways that we do that is by starting somewhere, right? We all start somewhere, and that's one of the solutions that we offer that allows our clients to start building that credit. So Freedom Rise is really great.
What is the number one thing to know how to choose which cards are best for you? Like, are there certain questions you ask people, or we should ask ourselves about what is the fit?
I think that you nailed it, right?
Yeah.
Ask ourselves what makes sense for our everyday spending, and what are we looking to accomplish. So if you're a traveler, then we have really great travel cards. Not only do they offer travel rewards, but they come loaded with travel benefits and purchase protection as well. So you're thinking about traveling when you make your purchases. We support our clients beyond points. So when you think about what a card can do for you, you want to think about the entire relationship beyond the points. And I'm talking about benefits that you probably didn't even know existed, right? So if your trip is canceled or cut short, we have a card for you, right? We have so many great benefits that are built into to our cards. It's just really what's important to you financially, and trying to figure that out with yourselves, but also with the help of your local branch and your community managers to guide you along the way.
What about how you manage the card? Like, so your bill comes, like you said, you get this credit. We think it's free money. It's not free money. It's credit. What happens when your credit card comes? How do you pay that, Tayamika? Like, should you pay all of it? Should you pay the minimum? What is the best way to manage a credit card? The smart way.
At the minimum, you want to make sure that you're making at least the minimum payment on time, all the time, right? Not some of the time, not most of the time, all the time. So for example, if you have a credit card, the minimum is $35, is due on the 12th of every month. You want to ensure that you are making that payment of $35 before or by the 12th of every month. Best practice is to have it automated, where you're automatically making the payments. But we do understand that everyone has different scenarios, different financial journeys. If you need to set reminders on your phone, because missing a payment can decrease your credit score to 100 points. That's a lot, right? But best practice is to pay the full statement balance. That's best practice.
Every time?
Yes, and then that way
minimum.
you avoid paying interest. Anybody here likes paying interest? Let me see your hand so I can give you mine.
You said no minimum. You pay it off every time you get it?
In full, baby. In full.
Okay. That is the responsible way. Is that the most responsible way?
Absolutely.
Well, what about if you were just starting your credit journey and he was trying to build credit? Would paying it full every time, does that help your credit journey?
Because one of the big things that impacts your credit score is called the rate of usage or utilization rate. So that's 20% of our credit, but the recommended utilization rate is 30%. So for instance, if I have a credit card for $1,000, the recommendation is that I should only use 300 or less, because it's showing that I'm responsible. Remember, this 3-digit number, you don't care. I go on missionary trips. They don't care how many missionary trips I do, how kind I am. They're looking at that 3-digit number to know whether or not Tayamika is going to be responsible to pay us back. I have a question. Anybody in this audience likes lending money, so that I know who I can go to when I need some money? I'm just joking. But anybody here likes lending money? Anybody? No hands raised. And the main reason probably is because you probably lend someone money And then when it was time to get it back, you had to chase them. It has broken relationships, families, right? So think about these large corporations that lend billions of dollars. They want to ensure that they are going to get their money back. And generally speaking, the lower your credit score, the more financially irresponsible. I'm not saying this. Chase isn't saying this. These are the rules. The lower your credit score, the less trustworthy I am. The higher my credit score, the more trustworthy I am.
Wow. So much judgment. So
No judgment, no judgment.
what about the fees connected to these credit cards? This, I guess, is for you, Jennifer.
Yeah, so we do have cards that have annual fees and we have cards that don't, right? It all depends on what it is that you're looking to get out of the card specifically. So, I mean, I don't look at it as the fee as a deterrent. You know, I look at how can the card complement your daily activities. That's really and truly what I look at. But we know when we want to be the bank for all, which is why we have cards that offer no fees. But similarly, you know, we have all of these great rewards that are built into cards that have a fee and without a fee. So we have a card for everyone, but it's really truly up to you in deciding what makes sense for you. Whether that's a fee-based card or a card without a fee, we have it all. So that's all questions that you can pose to your banker and all questions that you can pose to yourself in terms of what makes sense for you financially and what are you looking to get out of that relationship.
What's the benefit of having multiple cards? Like, shouldn't you be able to have one card? Or you tell me the benefit of having multiple cards.
You know what? It's a good question because many of our cards complement one another, right? So what I mean is you may have a card that's giving you 1.5% cash back on everyday spending, right? Which we do, which is the Freedom Unlimited. Then you have another card that offers 5% cash back on a quarterly basis based on categories, right? Which we do. You may want to combine those two and maximize how you earn rewards, right? So your everyday spending would be probably, you know, what you would use on your Freedom Unlimited, which is 1.5% cash back on everyday spending. But then if you have something like Freedom Flex, it's giving you 5% cash back on a quarterly basis. For example, this quarter is Amazon. How many of you guys use Amazon?
Everyone.
Right? Everyone, right? So Amazon and streaming services. So it's all about how you utilize your cards, right? So the cards work for you in so many ways. And I didn't even get into the travel, right? So we have our travel cards and they all work wonderfully together. So these are all things that you want to consider when you think about your next card and whether or not you should get that second card or third card. It really is dependent upon, you know, what it is that you're looking to get out of the relationship and what's important to you as a person.
And the Freedom Rise card specifically, who is that? Who is the perfect person that, you know, for that card? Like, who is that targeted to?
So the Freedom Rise is for that, you know, new to credit audience that's looking to get into credit for the first time. So it's building that relationship from the very first time, 18 and above. I mentioned earlier, it's even for those who are new to country who just got a Social Security number or an I-10. It's an easy card to understand in terms of rewards because it also offers you rewards at 1.5% cash back. But what's interesting about this card credit option, right? So pathway to credit option, it simply put, if you have a relationship with us and you have a minimum balance of $250 within a checking or savings or in combination of both, we increase your chances of approval just for having that with us. So we actually look at that pathway to credit option and increase your chances of approval. So the Freedom Rise is a really great card for students, new to credit, new to country, never had a credit card before. You know, it's really great. And it also offers you rewards and it incentivizes you as well when you think about, you know, within the first, we reevaluate your relationship within 6 months to see, hey, you've been actively paying this card down, you know, managing your spending. So we're going to go ahead and look and see that maybe we should increase your line, right? So we look at these things and we decide to increase your line and you know, add value in that way in that to your relationship. And you know, obviously I mentioned earlier that you all have goals, right? That home, that car, that apartment. Freedom Rise is a great way to kind of get you started on that path.
That's wonderful. How do you communicate that? Because you said the card is new to country, new to credit. Is, you know, how do you communicate that information to community? to our families? I guess this is a question probably for you, is under your job title, yes?
Yeah, so the beauty of this role is that we get to partner with our amazing One Chase partners like Jennifer. And as a community manager, the simplest way I can describe the role is that we serve as a bridge between the bank and the community. So while specifically, we're not licensed, so we can't speak about products, but when we have a workshop, at the end of the workshop, what we do, just like we're going to do today, we're going to have a QR code at the end. So for anyone who is interested to continue to move on to the next step, to be connected to one of our experts, one of our bankers, to learn more about a specific product. So that's how we're able to do it, because it's not just one and done, right? The work that we do here is how can we create mindset shifts that lead to long-lasting behavior changes. So coming to a workshop is just the first part of the process. And then, I had a workshop earlier today, and I told folks, this is your bank, this is your community center. Know who the manager is. Hi, Anthony. Brother Anthony, come in here. Know who the assistant branch manager is. Don't hi, Carlene. Hi, Carlene. Know who the bankers are, right? Know who, and I even mentioned that our regional director is here. Hi, Monica. She's here somewhere, and we have my supervisors here, Nicole King. Hi, Monica. My supervisor, Nicole King.
Everybody loves a shout out, right? Everybody wants a shout out.
And some of my other Brooklyn colleagues, Tabby, Shakima, who we do this work together, so we're able to help connect the dots. When you step in here, it's not just one and done, and it's not just one size fits all, but it's one size fits one.
Yes.
I love that. What about just the basics of budgeting? What do you tell people in those type of meetings and people who are trying to figure that out? Because that's where a lot of us go wrong. We say budget, we mean budget, but then we see something on Instagram
Just spend what
or on
you need.
Amazon.
Don't go over. Spend what you need and don't go over.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. You sound like a very disciplined man.
I am a disciplined man.
I heard you. But for the rest of us, sometimes we make a budget and then your friend calls and says, hey, we want to go eat here, or we want to go do this. What are your recommendations in terms of budgeting? How important is budgeting? What are the rules?
So, great question. Budgeting is extremely important. Savings and budgeting is the foundation, right, for anything. Just like a building, if the foundation isn't strong, it's going to collapse. Similarly, budgeting. And I know that budgeting is a trigger word for a lot of people. How many of you like budgeting? By show
I'm triggered.
So you're triggered.
I'm triggered.
So for most people, that word, so what I tell folks is call it something else. If you want to call it your financial plan or whatever it is, right? Because we do understand that for most people, the number one thing they feel is with budgeting is that it makes them feel restricted, right? And I always tell folks, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I don't have that right. I'm just here to give you some best practices. When it comes to budgeting, the main thing is we want to know what's coming in and what's going out. Income and expenses, right? You need to know what am I bringing in and what's going out. Because at the end of the day, for a lot of people, the issue becomes, I don't have money to save, or I can't save, or I'm overspending, right? So number one is write down all of your expenses, write down your income, subtract it, and see what you have. Number two, needs versus wants, right? If I'm a natural, I forgot to say, I'm a natural spender, but I reeled it back a lot. So if
I feel you, girl.
You feel me? That resonated with you?
It did, it really did. Even when I didn't have it, I still wanted to spend it.
Same here. Not only did I still want to spend it when I didn't have it, I spent it. I found it somewhere where it's called credit card, and I just swipe.
And then as soon as you get it, you want to spend it.
That's right.
Not good.
It's not good at all. So mindset shifts, right? Mindset shifts that lead to long-lasting behavior changes. And when it comes to budgeting, right, know where you are and know where you want to go. Number one is income and expenses. What's coming in, what's going out. Number two, needs versus wants. If anyone in here is like me, your needs is up to here. Your wants is through the roof. So being able to go back and check that, right? Being able to see where can I save some money? Where can I cut the cost? right? And it's about knowing where you want to go. For everybody, it's different. We're all on different financial journeys. I often joke around and say some of us are on skates, some are walking, some are on plane, some are on a boat. But you get what I'm saying. We're all trying to get from one point to the next. So budget allows you to tell your money what to do for you. So it's how you look at it, right? Most people look at it as restrictive. I can't do what I want to do. But if you change your mindset and how you view it is, I'm doing my budget and I'm telling my money what to do for me.
There's opportunity in that.
That's right.
In the way you think about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the main thing is, this is the example that I use, right? Think about a CEO of a company, the chief executive officer, and then think about the CFO of a company, chief financial officer. Number one, I'm a person of faith. I have no qualms, no shame on that. Number one person I represent is God, wherever I go. Number two, I'm big on the brand of Tayumika, right? So I am my own CEO, so to speak, and I am also my own CFO. Think about the big companies that you like or don't like. If the CFO was asked a question and he's not able to say, I don't know what's coming in, I have no idea. I don't know which of you would want to do business with that company. I don't think anybody, right? So the same way we view that, think about yourself as your own CFO. If we're not knowing what's coming in, what's going out, how am I spending money? One month when I was financially irresponsible, like after college, and I spent like $200 on like deals or Dollar Tree. Why? Why?
Dollar Tree will get you.
It was
Like, not everything is a dollar.
It got me
$5.
It got me a lot of times, but being able to sit down and put pen to paper or digitally, and I was able to see like, wow, I actually spent that amount of money. That's wild, and I need to reel it back. So this is what budgeting does. It allows you to tell your money what to do as opposed to it being the other way around.
Yeah. What are some of the tools here, like cards or just tools in terms of how to keep yourself on track and budgeting and?
Well, one of the things that we have here is something called Credit Journey. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it is a wonderful tool that actually monitors your credit, right? You also have something that's built in that's called Score Planner. What it allows you to do is set a goal. Whatever that goal is that you're looking to accomplish, it'll actually walk you through what you need to do to achieve that goal. So not only that, it's great for identity protection, identity monitoring. So it's not that we are, just setting you up with the card. We're also giving you the tools that are necessary to monitor that same credit, right? We have insights built into Credit Journey that goes into, your credit factors. What is impacting your credit currently, right? So it's not that we're just going to give you a card and out you go. It's really, truly, how do we help you navigate that card behind something as simple as Credit Journey? And guess what? You don't even have to be a customer to actually have access to Credit Journey. Credit Journey is available to everyone. So it's just a really fantastic tool that we have out there to build the education beyond credit, right? So when you actually have an opportunity, if you are a client, just poke around on our mobile app, you'll find it, it's there, and you'll see how great this tool actually is. And like I mentioned to you, like identity protection, identity monitoring is top of mind these days as well. It does that as well. So you navigate your credit score, you monitor it, and then we have everything there at your fingertips. So great question.
Yeah, I think there's so much, and I think everything is so personal. It's like being this, like you said, the CEO of your own company and your own brand, I think is really important. So with that, I'm wondering, I know we wanted to open the floor and get some questions about what's important to you, and hopefully we can answer some of those here today. And let's start there. Do we have any questions in the room? I know you have questions, sir. I think you have answers. I feel like you need a chair. We got to get you up here in a chair.
I got those too.
First of all, do you really pay your credit card off every month?
Every month.
And what has that done?
Full.
And what has that done for you?
My normal is like 120, 115.
And where did you learn that, and what has it done for you?
Oh, after my score being in the 400s.
In the toilets?
In the 400s. It's now like, I lost 17 points, so it was 771.
Wow.
I'm down to 751, but
Wow.
on my Equifax, I have 800.
By paying it off monthly?
I pay it always, pay it off.
How long?
If I'm gonna use the credit, I have to pay it off in full because there's no minimum. If I used 100 and something, I gotta pay that off.
Yeah. How long have you been doing
Like,
that?
pay minimum, huh?
How long have you been doing that?
5 years. What I did was, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I was in a relationship.
Get him
And
a
I
chair,
put
get him a
the
chair.
credit card under my first love, but she's not around no more. So I said, "Oh, you want to blow up my credit card?" I blew it up to 20,000. I was in debt. Guess what? I ran, but y'all didn't tell you this. I ran for 10 years, but I started over.
Oh my
They
goodness.
don't tell you that in credit.
Wow.
They don't tell you that. And I did the workshop today.
And you did the workshop today?
Yeah, the workshop.
Wow,
But I-
you've come a long way, sir.
Yeah.
You've come a long way, sir. God bless.
Who else wants to ask a question?
Hey, we've all had high moments and low moments. I've been evicted twice, sir, so I came back from that.
Nah, they won't give me again.
And I co-signed one of my first big major financial mess ups was that I co-signed a friend of mine's college,
I got a tip for
her
you.
student loan. I think I just finished paying for her to go to law school.
I have a tip for you. For all of y'all.
It's terrible. Don't do it.
If you gonna lend money out and you gotta ask yourself this question, is this mother F gonna give me my money back? Don't do it.
Don't do it, he
Don't do
says.
it.
We're gonna get him a chair.
Right.
Did you have a question or you just want? No, just wanted to say hello. Okay, all right. We have in the back.
Yes,
Okay,
hi,
Ms. Angie,
thank you
Hi.
so much. My name is Angelica. I just wanted to ask, what do you say or what recommendations do you have for the person who has thousands of dollars in credit card debt already accumulated for a number of years? So interest is a factor in that. Payments are being made towards the credit card, but still no improvements in the credit score. The credit score has remained stagnant, doesn't go up, goes down occasionally, but then it fluctuates up and down within the same 5 to 10 point range. What do you say to the person who has been paying, who has been on time with it, but is not seeing any improvement in their credit score, really?
That's a great question, and I'm sure that person's not alone.
Well, I cannot speak to the specific scenario that you gave me, but I will say what I mentioned about credit journey is actually true. So if you actually poke around into credit journey, you'll see all the factors that are currently impacting your ability to move that credit score up, and you can actually control what's next, what's the out. Poke around there, you'll see score plan, what I mentioned previously, right? So what is the score that you're trying to get to, and it puts together a plan for you to follow to actually see that score increase, right? But you also see the factors that are impacting your credit. So just jump into that tool, navigate, play around with it, and you'll see all of those factors and what you have to do going forward to see the change you want to see.
And I can add to that, one of the things that we also do here, as I mentioned earlier, one, I will tell that person, don't give up, give yourself grace, keep doing what you're doing, and then because of the work that we do, we're able to connect with amazing community partners, and one of the community partners that we work with, they do have credit specialists, restoration. So if that's something you're interested in, at the end we'll have a QR code, and we can help connect you with them as well.
Oh, we'll get to you.
Has to do with going up and then going down.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
So, someone that likes traveling, obviously.
Yes.
What would you say is the best car to maximize for travel?
Well, I wouldn't say the best card, but they're different type of cards, and one of them that we have is Chase Sapphire Reserve, right? So this card in particular, depending on your lifestyle and what it is that you want to get out of travel, would probably be one that you want to look at, right? It does have an annual fee. The annual fee is $550. However, there's quite a few benefits that come packed with airport, you don't want to wait on the line, guess what? We have global entry and TSA pre-check that you get with that card, right? So that's one facet of it. But then also when you pass the security checkpoint, do you want to wait in the general area, or do you want to go to one of the lounges? So we have our own Sapphire network of lounges that card allows you to have access to. So that's just another piece that's built on that Sapphire Reserve, right? So you get into the lounge, you get entry with 2 people, 2 additional guests in there, and guess what? You eat for free, you drink for free, you have a good time, but it's all about the lifestyle that you kind of are looking to, lead and what you want out of that card. And not only that, I can go on and on and on, but you know, you do have a $300 travel credit for that particular card as well. So, you know, $550 may sound like a lot, but when you start peeling back the onion and, you know, working your way back, you'll see that the card actually pays for itself, right? And I didn't even get into the fact that it comes with all of these other benefits such as trip cancellation, you know, auto collision damage waiver, you have lost luggage reimbursement, you have so many things that are built into these cards that we really don't have any, you know, idea about until you start poking around and navigating and finding out a little bit more. You can do that at your local branch with the bank or just going on chase.com and comparing some of the cards, because we do a really great job at, you know, on our website, but also on our actual platform for Ultimate Rewards for you to kind of get into that and see all of the ways that we're flexible in how we earn and how we are able to redeem rewards as well. So it's all about you.
Yeah, and I do have one more question. So as far as the free rides, I have my son, he's an authorized user on my credit card. That would not affect him when he turns 18 next year to apply for his card, right?
Well, so the specific question, I really can't get into the specific of that, but if he is an authorized user, I would suggest you go into a branch and speak with the banker on how to navigate that, right? So,
And we can, this QR code at the end,
yes.
so that we can connect you with one of our amazing
They don't want to give you
bankers.
information that could be wrong in your specific case. Make sure they get all the details about your specific situation so that they can guide you in the right way. It's not that she doesn't want to answer that question.
Yes, I'm limited.
She really wants to. I can tell she wants to jump out the seat.
To the person, it's not me though.
Oh. Of course not.
Come on, like
Never.
never. What's your advice to someone who had a good credit score, and then out of nowhere it drops, and it dropped because of student loans? I remember a little birdie a couple years ago told us, "Don't forget life," and now that person's credit is low. What is your advice to restore or repair their credit? Who's not me?
Well, I mean, well, thank you for sharing that.
This is hypothetically, so
This
this
is-
is can answer. It's not her specific, it's hypothetical question.
It's like an imaginary friend.
Yes, of
That's
course.
not.
Look at it, play around with it, you'll see all of the factors that are impacting, you know, where you are in terms of credit, and what you need to do to kind of repair it and try to get to a specific goal that you have set in mind. But
What do those programs look like? Like, what are the action items, kind of, loosely?
so loosely, I mean, if you jump into your mobile app, you can kind of see something that says Sport Planner, and it guides you through what it is that you're trying to accomplish and what is the goal in mind. Is it a home ownership goal, right? Is it a vacation goal? We have a number of goals that are built in, and if we can actually improve your credit score by a certain amount of points, we put together a plan of steps in terms of whether you make or miss payments on time and things of that nature that manages your day-to-day spending. We tie that into that score planning feature that allows you to kind of see the progression. So it's all about managing how you're paying off, the frequency in which you're paying it off, and what have you. And also, Taimika mentioned that you had the organization.
Right, so we can connect you also with, fill out the QR code at the end. But then we also offer workshops here in this beautiful center every third and fourth Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. And one of the topics that we consistently cover is credit and knowing, as Jennifer mentioned, you know, how you're managing
Because
it. You use what
It's
you're
not
using.
you, but if it was you, you are not, someone like you is not alone in that journey. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just an advocate
Someone
for
like you.
that person.
It's important to advocate for your community. How long does it take how long have you seen that it takes to turn around credit? I know every circumstance is different, but if somebody is actively trying, even if it's, you know, small amounts or a small plan in place, like, what are we talking about in terms of how long it takes to? I know it probably varies
Yeah,
widely.
it varies by person, obviously by exposure, but you can see anything within 3 to 12 months, at least from my experience, but that's not going to be like your particular experience, right? So, for example, right now, myself, because I also play around with this as well in terms of score planning, if I was to add a mortgage today, the score planning feature tells me exactly how many points my score would go up, right? And just by following a couple of steps, like paying off this particular card, on a specific cadence, so on and so forth. So it's I go back into the same tool because it actually does a great job at guiding us, Because as I mentioned earlier, we have these cards, but we also provide the solution to help you along the way, navigating the card as well, and just building the habits that you want to see.
What if somebody's in trouble, like finance? I guess I'm asking, is there a way to work on your credit if you are currently in a bad situation financially? If you currently are struggling to pay the bills that you do have, is there anything at all that you can do for your credit in that space?
I think one of the things is the two main things for credit is, number one, making sure that you're making those payments on time, even if it's the minimum. So even if you're when life starts lifing, you want to at least paying the minimum payment. And two, you want to keep that usage 30% and lower. If you're above that, then you want to try to see if you can pay more than the minimum. But then there's also when life happens, you can call the credit card company, and it doesn't mean that they're gonna waive it, but they can. I've seen based on individual basis where they're able to come up with a plan. I was working with a client who lost a family member. She was going through a divorce, and a lot of things were happening. I suggested to her, why don't you call the credit card company to see what can be done? So that's an option, right? But the top two things are that you want to make at least a minimum payment on time, and then try to keep those balances low.
Mm-hmm. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain the reporting agencies? Can you explain the reporting agencies that judge your credit, and then talk about identity theft in relationship to the Freedom Rise card?
So I'll take the first part. So we have many credit bureaus, but we have 3 national ones. Anyone knows their name? Go ahead, Armand. Armand.
Number one,
No,
experience.
not sorry. We're giving somebody else a chance to speak.
All right.
Go ahead.
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
Excellent. And just to give a shout out to the work that we do here, we actually met last week with an external workshop that I did for an organization, and I mentioned that we were having this event. And for the workshop, I told Armin, I said, "Do you work at Chase?" Just joking, because he was on point. He was answering all of the questions, and he said, "I just want to be able to live a good life. I want to be wealthy." So I told him, we're having this event. Why don't you come over? And he's here. So I appreciate you for being out here. But when it comes to those 3, right? These are the agencies that, let's say for instance, if I have a credit card with Amazon, at the end of the month they're reporting, my information. What information are they reporting? Is Tayumika making these payments on time? And 2, what is the usage, right? So that's what the main things that they're focusing on. And we have what you call your credit report, or as we like to call it, your financial report, that's showing everything that you have, whether it's a mortgage, a car, student loan, credit cards, and you want to have a long credit history, but also a positive credit history, because remember again, those 3 digits, right? Those 3 digits that they range from what? What are the numbers? I said it. Let's see who's paying attention. 300 to what? 850. To 850. So those 3 digits, basically, they show how financially responsible we are. So at the end of the month, right, I want to ensure that I'm making my payments on time and that I'm keeping my balance 30% or lower. Because either Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, they're reporting, my cards are reporting my information to those credit bureaus. And every year, if you don't know, we all have access to get a free copy of our credit report. You can go to annualcreditreport.com to get a copy of your credit report. And it's important to get it from all 3, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, because not all companies report to all 3. So you may get an Experian credit report and an account may not be on it because that specific account maybe only reports to TransUnion. So again, annualcreditreport.com. If you haven't done it yet, get a free copy of your credit report.
That answer your question?
Yeah. I knew the answer. But I saw a lot of other people in there didn't know the answer. Right.
In the back, hi.
Yes, as an older person, I find many colleagues and
I think thank you for that question. I can't, it varies depending on the individual, and that's something that at the end you fill out the QR code and we can connect you to a banker. But what I will say is that, so, all right, so for the other people, for like my friend
It's
over
not
here,
for her.
it's not for her. I got it. So
For
for the other people, you can fill out the QR code. We can connect you to a banker, and we actually have, what we call also wealth plan. My banking team is here. They can connect you. We have discover needs. See, Monica, I know my stuff. We connect you one-on-one, right? And it's almost like when you go to the doctor, right? And they're asking you, they're not just asking you one question, but they want to know. And I personally believe that in order to find the best solution for any problem, you need to know the specific issue, right? To find the best solution. So that's what we're able to do, connect you to one of our experts. And then you can also attend our workshops, right? What we teach is that if you save $1, if you spend $1 less every day, and you save that $1, at the end of the year, how much money will you have? $365, right? If you just by spending $1 less, right? And what we tell folks is $1 is too much, then do 50 cents. 50 cents is too much, do a quarter. I think you see where I'm going. If a penny, then do a penny. At the end of the day, if I go to a store and something costs 87 cents, they're gonna ask me where are my 13 cents, right? The power of the penny. So it's not about the amount, and that's where a lot of people get caught up on. It's about building the muscle to save, because emergencies are emergencies, because we don't know they're gonna happen. Emergencies don't announce themselves until they happen. So if all you could save is $10 a week, be consistent and save those $10. In 10 weeks, you'll have $100. Eventually, you can increase that number, but it's about building the muscle to save. And when we do our workshops, we're so amazing here, and not because I work here, but when we do our workshops and we talk about budgeting and cash flow, right? What's coming in, what's going out, part of the expenses is monthly savings should be included. Most people don't include monthly savings, but we call it pay yourself first. We pay all these other bills, so you should be paying yourself first by taking a chunk, a piece, a slice, whatever you want to call it, and putting it away for the rainy days.
Yes.
Last question.
Last question, here we go.
I don't know if this is a silly question,
No silly
No
questions.
silly questions.
but how many times are we supposed to check our credit score? 'Cause I
Oh,
was-
great question. That's a great question. Because we get mixed information about that. Like, don't check it too much, don't run it too much, because it will affect it.
Well, it's really considered a soft pull, so there's really no impact, a negative impact to you. So if you are checking your credit score, it is considered a soft pull. So
That's when it's on your phone or in your banking.
yeah, if you're going into like a credit
They
union
send me
app or just-
achievement badges on my phone when I check my credit all the time.
It decreases the credit score if you keep checking it like frequently.
Just a soft pull.
No,
So what does affect it? What does affect it?
So
Applying for new
Right.
accounts,
Yep.
right?
Uh-huh.
So that's when
Right.
it impacts it, right? So if you were going to apply for a credit card, then you gotta know whether or not your score is gonna be impacted, right? And depending on various factors, we can't speak to all of them, but it may be in your particular case that if you do apply for another card, your score may go up. Or if you apply for a card, your score may go down, but it all depends on the factors that, your underlying factors. So there's a-
Algorithm.
What's a soft pull? Like you just
Yeah.
soft
So anything where you see if you get those emails or mail at home that says you're pre-approved,
Okay,
so
yeah.
that's a
That's a
soft.
soft pull.
I was doing a workshop with some business owners and they said, how soft is it? It's teddy bear
It's
soft.
not giving
In
you.
in case you were wondering,
It's
teddy
not
bear
giving you
soft.
social security.
So
That's
it's, so here's the thing,
I
once
just
you
wanna see if this
click
audio's
and say
on.
or reply to that or call, then you're giving them
I think it went off.
permission
Yeah.
to pull your
A
credit,
real
and
pull.
that becomes a hard pull,
Right, there you go.
which stays on your credit report for 2 years.
2 years.
How many of those are you allowed to do like with it before it starts affecting your credit?
Whoa.
You wanna minimize that.
I can hit the QR code. If you want me to hit the QR code, then I can do that.
Yes, thank you, Angie. So you wanna minimize that because and I'll give myself as an example, right? I was a shopaholic. I rolled it back a lot, right? Because I got myself in a mountain of debt when I was in college and I didn't have a full-time job. to pay for it, and that's why I said pay now, buy now became buy now and pay later, or buy now and pay never. So for me, if I was buying an outfit, I went to a store, and what's better than a sale? You apply for this credit
It's
card
on sale.
and we'll give you 10% off. What? That's music to my ears. Sign me up, sign me up. Then I need shoes to go with it. I go to another store. You get this credit card, we'll give you 20% off. That's two separate hard inquiries. You want to minimize that, especially if you're going to be making like larger purchases, because it becomes a red flag and it kind of shows that you're overextending yourself.
Credit risk. We're gonna get you a chair on the next one, ladies. We're doing it. You're gonna be our regular guest on the next one. Thank you guys so much for your time today. What do you think is most important for people to take away from this conversation or some of the workshops you do? If they leave with one thing today, what would you hope that would be?
Is that we are here for you. This community center, Chase made a huge investment, and this center is here for you, whether you're a Chase customer or not. We are here to help. We have our One Chase team, and you come in, we have lovely community partners that we work with. So it's not just one and done. We're here to help you make your financial journey a lot smoother. And as we say, we like to make dreams possible for everyone, everywhere, every day.
Beautiful.
One of the things that I like to say that, we're the owners of our own destiny, and one of the things that we want to do is control what we expect, right? So whether it's with the help of the community, or really just kind of dive deep into what your goals are and own those goals yourself. So it starts with you, right? It starts with you along the way, but we also are here to guide you as well.
Yeah. And how lucky are you if you're part of this community? You can tell that everybody here really cares about what they do and the work that you're doing. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing the information. And obviously you should feel comforted to know that there are Q codes and that these people are here all the time to help you and support you. So it was great to be part of this today. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your time, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Zebra.
Thank you, Tyree. Thank you, Angie, for really kicking this off. I really, really hope that you all got something out of this conversation. I saw the people recording. Please share those videos.
Share.
Information is power. That was the real intent behind this, and I'm so thrilled that we were able to do this tonight. Thank you again for coming. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful dinner and enjoyed the food. And please come back to the branch. That QR code will be circulating. It will connect you to a banker.
It's right here, everybody. Take out your phone,
open
your cameras,
If you have a
scan
question that you weren't sort of comfortable asking, get connected to a banker. They will answer the questions for you. We are here for you in various ways, and I really want to reinforce that. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Well done, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See ya.